The Corner Lantern Café was warm and inviting on a cool Friday evening. Soft jazz music played in the background, while candles flickered on each table. Couples chatted over dinner. Friends laughed over coffee, and the aroma of freshly baked pastries filled the air. It was the kind of place where people came to celebrate special moments or begin new chapters in their lives. Daniel Brooks sat alone at a table near the window, glancing at his watch for what felt like the 100th time. His blind date was now 30 minutes late. The coffee he had ordered when he arrived had grown cold, and he wondered if he had been stood up. A few months earlier, his sister had convinced him to try online dating, after years of focusing almost entirely on work. Since losing his father, Daniel had buried himself in his career, rarely making time for friendships, let alone relationships agreeing to meet someone new had taken more courage than he wanted to admit. The waitress approached with a kind smile. "Would you like another cup of coffee?" Daniel smiled politely, "Not yet. I'll wait just a little longer." She nodded sympathetically and walked away. Daniel looked toward the entrance again. Nothing. He reached for the bill, quietly accepting that the evening was probably over. Just then, the cafe door opened. A young woman hurried inside. Brushing rain from her jacket, she looked around the room until her eyes met Daniel's. She immediately walked toward him. "I'm so sorry," she said. Slightly out of breath, "The bus broke down and I couldn't get a taxi." Daniel stood and smiled warmly. "It's okay. I'm just glad you made it." She laughed with relief and sat across from him. For a brief moment, neither of them spoke. Instead, she looked at him carefully before smiling. "You have kind eyes?" Daniel blinked in surprise. No one had ever greeted him with words like that. He chuckled softly. "That's probably the nicest compliment I've ever received." "I'm Emily," she said. Extending her hand, "I'm Daniel." The nervousness quickly disappeared as they began talking. They shared childhood memories, favorite books, travel, dreams, and the little experiences that had shaped who they were. Daniel admitted he loved painting landscapes in his spare time, but had never shown his artwork to anyone. Emily shared that she spent her weekends volunteering at a local animal shelter because helping abandoned animals made her feel connected to something bigger than herself. Hours passed without either of them noticing. When the cafe owner announced closing time, they both laughed, surprised at how quickly the evening had disappeared. Outside, gentle rain had stopped, leaving the streets quiet beneath glowing streetlights. Daniel hesitated before asking, "Can I ask why you said I have kind eyes?" Emily smiled. "My grandmother always believed that a person's eyes reveal how they treat others when no one is watching. The first moment I saw you, I noticed the way you thanked the waitress, smiled at the elderly couple leaving the cafe, and patiently waited without complaining." Daniel stood silently, touched by her answer. As they walked side by side into the evening, he realized the best first impressions aren't made by expensive clothes or perfect words, they're made by quiet acts of kindness that someone thoughtful is willing to notice.